Let's say I want to loop this. I want to keep enjoying it. Okay, I can just highlight all of the notes like this. Hit Command L. And listen to it over and over. Now, the other thing I need to point out, okay, is that there's something called the probability section. And then in the probability section is that you can actually increase or decrease the chance of certain notes being played or certain chord progressions being played, which is really interesting. And so, for example, the chance of all of these notes being triggered at or being played back at 100%, the chance of it happening is 100%. It's just that it will happen. But watch, if I do things like, let's say on these first notes here, I bring the chance all the way down and bring my velocity range all the way down. Now I'm gonna hit play. So because there's a 0 chance of that note playing. But where it can get, and so that's pretty obvious, right? But where it can actually get interesting is where you actually change the chance, and you can actually change the randomness of the chance. But let's say I take all of the notes. Let me actually bring this all the way up like this and bring the chance level to 50%. To 50%. Let's get this one to 50. So there's a 50% chance that these notes will play, and there's a 50% chance they won't play. Which, again, why would you want to do this? Because it can give you some rhythmic suggestions that you wouldn't maybe necessarily think on your own. So let's go ahead and hit play. See, so it gives you some rhythmic ideas that tonally too could suggest other things. So that doesn't mean necessarily that the chords will always not play, but certain notes might play and other notes might not play. So if you're like, that's too much, but you want to play around with it some more, bring them all the way back up to 100% and then hit the randomize knob, where it won't affect the velocity as much, but it will randomly give you different ideas for the chance section. And so now you can see here, look at the chance. The chance is all over the place for all of these notes. But again, this might give you some fun suggestions on different ways to approach playing around with the rhythmic values of these notes. So let's go ahead and hit play. Can be fun because it's now taking my straight kind of piano idea that I had before, right? Or just straight chord progression, and now it's almost creating this nice little rhythmic lead type feel. So that could be really fun as well. So let me just show you a couple of more things here that I think you might enjoy when it comes to using MIDI. First of all, could you possibly turn your MIDI into an audio clip? And this is a great thing that everyone should know when it comes to using Ableton. And that is by right-clicking on it, and you can actually take your entire clip and you could turn it into audio, okay? So what you want to do, actually, a couple of things I just want to point out is, one, you need to freeze and flatten it. Okay, so we can freeze the arrangement. And by the way, at this point too, if this were a real class, I would then take a break. We would stop after this demonstration, and then you would get a chance to try these things yourself once again. So again, 50-50 in our classes. I make sure I give you enough time to practice, and then if you get stuck on something or have questions at this point, we would dive a little bit further into it. Okay? So now once I freeze this section, I can then right click on it and I can flatten it and I can turn it into audio. So now it's an audio clip. And let's say you're like, oh no, I didn't mean to do that. Maybe I want to still see the MIDI. You could always hit Command Z, go back. And then what I like to do is hit Command D, create copies, and then maybe freeze a section, and then have an audio clip as well. Now, why would I want to do that? Because there might be other opportunities that you could try with just using your track as an audio clip versus it having MIDI. Or let's say you make sample packs. Let's say you want to maybe make some loops for yourself and you want to share them with friends and maybe other producer friends to collaborate, and they're in a different DAW. Maybe they're not using Ableton. Maybe they're in Logic or Pro Tools or FL Studios, and you want to work together. This is what you would need to do: is create some stem files for them. So that's another great reason why you might want to turn some of your MIDI instruments into audio clips.